Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's currently Thursday, August, does that say 9th? Yes, August 9th, 2012, and this is Day 9 Daily number 489, attempt Day 2, as yesterday's attempt of it went awry. As apparently my graphics card was acting up like crazy. I went through the whole thing, cleaned the drivers, and all that stuff. It wasn't working. I tried to do the show, it crashed. I cried. I put it back up, it crashed again. I wept harder. Went up again, it crashed again, and I puked blood and tears of oil wept down my eyes, and I guess I should go to a doctor for that or something. But I replaced the whole graphics card, whole new graphics rig. Things seem to be going great. So let's do a show. But this is something that I actually tweeted about earlier on, that whenever you replace broken computer hardware, or whenever something's going really wrong with your computer and you replace hardware or do a software change, it's a lot like administering an antidote to a lethal poison in your body. No one can just be like, oh look at his face, yeah, he's cured. You put in the antidote and then you just sort of wait around, and after like 4 days, you think, I guess the antidote worked. Or you die. Those are the two options. That's what it's like. The graphics card's in there. It's great. It's working fine right now. But maybe everything will just explode. You'll never know. How many graphics cards have I replaced? 3. I keep 2 backups at all points in time. I also have a backup motherboard and processor, and fan, and cooling unit, and a backup power supply. I don't have a backup solid state drive. I have a backup regular hard drive. That's right. I think these things through because I want to bring you maximum entertainment. And this chair, I don't have a backup chair though. I don't have a backup chair. This is the one chair that you have to deal with. I should really get a new chair. Should get a new chair, or WD-40. Let's talk about the topic of today's daily. In today's daily, we're going to be exploring why TaeJa has such a ridiculously high win rate in Terran vs. Zerg. I had the somewhat TMZ style flashy title of 80% TvZ win rate because Liquid TaeJa has an 80% win rate in this matchup since the start of the year, since 2012, since people have been as good as they have ever been at this game, and they've had range 5 queens that whole time. Terrans are crying, and Terrans are sobbing, and Terrans are puking blood, and tears of oil are streaming down their face, but TaeJa has managed to just seemingly solve everything. And we'll end up looking a lot at that. First, what I wanted to do was just give you a bonus game. I felt a little bad about yesterday, about everything crashing, so we're just going to begin with this little bonus matchup. This is just me saying, let's look at how good TaeJa is. So we have Biel, Fnatic raid calls Biel Namu, I think is the full name. He's going to be 6 pooling. And what's TaeJa going to be doing? Yes, I implore you to think of the worst case scenario. He's going to be going depot first. Okay, good. And he's still, oh no, oh, he's queuing him up. He's queuing him up. Queuing him up, that's right. That's right. There's a command center first. And this is happening as well. Now, it looks like TaeJa has not yet begun to scout. And this is the traditional situation where you'd be like, oh, I'm totally screwed. There is the barracks right there. And then, of course, this happens. I'll come right out the gate and just tell you that TaeJa's going to win this game really easily. Yeah. Watch this. Watch this cool thing that he does. Obviously, what makes this build good is that you cannot engage this army directly. But likewise, Biel's army cannot engage anything else unless it's all clumped together. So TaeJa does the following. He cancels this, but notice he waits as long as possible. He's going to cancel this, he's going to cancel this, and the basic technique is to build a whole bunch of barracks at opposite corners of the map. Here's one barracks. If you built a barracks here and a barracks here, that would work. Or maybe if you built one here and one here. That's a little bit close, but still that's the right idea. Maybe one down here. Just go somewhere else. where you don't see the stuff. TaeJa totally botches that and doesn't cancel. But then have you ever seen someone use the load up? Yep, TaeJa does. Cancels this. But same basic concept. Unloads this barracks, or excuse me, unloads this command center to be able to just build these buildings at all various corners. There's another depot going down and just running around. Isn't this cute? It goes ahead and runs the roundabout. As Zerg, you immediately think to yourself, oh my god, something's up. But notice the only way you can check something is up is by splitting up your forces like this. Yeah, there's the other two lings. So TaeJa just chills back here. I mean, this kind of sucks to find, but what really can you do about it? I mean, you're going to go for it, but here's TaeJa re-expanding. Oh yeah, building another barracks down here. Can't really get there because I don't know if you can see these little spikes we're blocking. And then the incredible journey back home. It actually looks kind of easy when you see him do that. Yeah, and there you go. Nice. Nice. Yeah. Cool. There's your bonus game for the day. It kind of goes to show you that doing some slightly out-of-the-box thinking can get you into wonderful situations. Or I guess I should say, embracing the idea that there is a solution here. The standard play that you would do as a Terran player there is lose. Or, more standardly, you would, or more specifically, you'd box all your SCVs together and try to engage that force. And hope that you had the right angle. And what you'll see so many Terran players do in that situation is they'll just go, ugh, it didn't work. In that boxing, they'll send it, ugh, God, I hope I can kill it off, ugh. And it doesn't work. But you don't have to engage. Never have to engage. The reason I bring up that game is, first, it's just totally kick-ass and is a bonus. But what we're going to do is we're going to watch an amazing game between TaeJa and Shime that I think showcases a lot of what makes TaeJa so good. And the basic phrase I want to describe it as is non-committal aggression. Or in other words, values having control over doing damage. We're going to see tons of examples where Terran clearly has control but is not trying to shoot down workers or kill off expansions or do anything else. Here's the example that I think I gave like 4 times yesterday because the stream kept crashing. Here's a good way to mentally picture the idea of control. If Zerg has a real struggle spreading creep, then you've probably done a good job of controlling him. I mean, it's about as simple as that. But I want that to just, that idea to stick in your mind, because think of all the times when the Zerg traditionally can spread creep, or when the Zerg could be spreading creep. And it's another one of those things that it's easy to take for granted. The same way that you'd want to just box your SCVs against a 6 pool and say go, you take for granted that maybe there's something else you could be doing here. And one last example I want to bring up before we hop into the game, which I should actually probably load since it has to go through the patcher. And let me just make sure, don't crash on me. Good. Good. Ah, it loaded up perfectly. Look, there it is, perfectly loaded. So here's an idea I want to bring up. Often 2 players will build up armies on 2 bases. They'll get into a huge tangling engagement where both of them will basically lose everything. So what do? They both build up on their 2 bases again, and then they each take a third. And then they play the game out normally. So again, go to base, build up an army. The armies cancel out. So then we just sort of build up again and take our third. Contrast this with the following. We both early expand, and then we both build up and we just take our third. So that in one situation we had a battle where it was totally equal, in the other situation we didn't. In the situation where we had the battle, all we've really done is delayed this exact same thing that happened on the right. This is very common in Terran vs. Protoss to see where Terran and Protosses will be kind of passive and just they'll kind of agree to expand a whole bunch and not really engage. The one difference when you're against a Zerg player is that in this situation where we had the big battle and then took our third and moved on, the Zerg wasn't able to spread creep. in the situation where we were totally passive and went for a fast third, Zerg was completely able to spread his creep. So again, I want that to sort of stick out in your mind that TaeJa is going to be taking many aggressive opportunities. And of course, I'm seeing great jokes in the chat. Captain Loser says, I feel like I've heard this before, almost like it was yesterday. His ID is Captain Loser. I'm not just like, look at Captain Loser in the chat. I'm not just like shitting on someone who's kind enough to tune into the show. Just like, who's that guy making fun of me for crashing my graphics card? Ugh, I hate that guy. I hate that guy. Okay, so first of all, we're going to see Liquid TaeJa go ahead and start off with a 2 racks aggression. I'll note right away that this is a good place to build 2 barracks because it's very difficult for the Zerg player to send drones to deny this. It's unlikely that his scouting drone will find it, but even if it does, it still ends up being okay. And most notably, it lets you get to his base faster. Here's what we're going to see out of Liquid TaeJa at the start. I want to emphasize I'm going to be stressing themes as opposed to specific builds. It's the themes of TaeJa that I want to emphasize because, again, if we want to try to get 80% win rate in Terran versus Zerg, we don't have the magic build. TaeJa does a wide variety of stuff. It's the themes that are truly important. So here we see TaeJa just doing the scout out. And if we do any kind of early aggression like this, our opponent will have to respond in some sort of way. In general, I like attacking because information like this is quite useful. What information does this tell us? The simple one is to say, oh, it tells us that we're hurting his economy because he's not mining. What's a slightly more sophisticated thing? Oh, this tells us that his pool is likely not done yet. Because if it was done, we'd be encountering Zerglings. But I think the most subtle thing to note in almost all situations is getting a read on what he's doing with his gas. In other words, if my Zerg buddy is pulling these drones, can we say anything about his gas? Probably doesn't have a lot. Probably hasn't even begun mining. And again, ask yourself that gas question no matter what you see at the front. If you are seeing a lot of roaches early on, he's probably spent a lot of his gas on roaches, which means he pretty much can't have a layer. So cool, he's stuck on hatch tech. Easy conclusion. If we're at the 15-minute mark and we see a lot of roaches, well, we can't conclude that he has no layer. It's always about the status of the game. So here, since he is pulling these drones, even though things are going kind of terribly, even though things are kind of really sucking ass in the general scope of, oh yeah, I mean, how many workers have we killed off? Only 4. Our bunker didn't get done. We're gonna lose another one. Oh god, we're sending so many SCVs in. Still, we can conclude very clearly that the Zerg player, in this circumstance, is like 99% not having his gas up. This is a really narrow save by TaeJa. Super narrow save by Shine. So, this is a pretty common circumstance to be in. As Zerg, we're a little happy that we're finally out of the pressure gates. But let's talk a little bit about what Terrans would ordinarily do. This is the first example of non-committal aggression. Non-committal aggression. This is a control play, not a damage-dealing play. He's going to sit his butt right here for a little bit. He's just sitting. He's hanging out. We have the expand. Most players would be building a bunker and pulling all 4 of these back to get in the bunker while lifting these 2 duders back. But literally, TaeJa's going to sit here for a little bit longer, and as TaeJa was sitting here in the game, suddenly it just popped into my head. I was like, oh, well, yeah, Zerg can either build slow lings, again, not speedlings, because we concluded right back here, yeah, there's no way he's getting gas if he's pulling all his drones to the front. Okay, we can be up against slowlings, queens, or spines. So we can comfortably leave stuff here and stop his creep spread. Again, the measure almost always is stop. Am I stopping creep spread? Am I actively stopping creep spread without risking anything else? Just asking that question a lot in these games helps so much. So TaeJa just does this. Oh, cool. He's going to do a little poking. The worst case scenario is that our opponent builds tons of Zerglings and no drones. And he really should be building only drones right now. Otherwise, he's boned, and he'll probably die. So great, TaeJa just lifts, and then he pulls back. He's doing a pretty common maneuver, which is to early expand, get the second command center up. This is really, really, really common. Following it up with gas, so we can do clever things like go for a pectory. Yeah! Alright. Nifty. Again, I'm going to stop right here. Once again, I will stop. Once again, I will listen to the whims of the beautiful chat, the Captain Losers, all of you, and I'll straighten my collar. You guys have to watch this show live if you don't. All anyone does, they're like, there's a wrinkle, there's a... Oh, God. You should see it. Do I have a... Is my Team Liquid sweater within arm's reach? I don't think it is. I think it's in the wash right now. But I was wearing it, and one of the cords was dangling, and it was just up like that over the shoulder. And everyone was like, fix it, fix it, fix it, please, 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 please. It's like the entire chat for an hour. And I'm looking at the chat. It's there. Anytime you see my eyes do that, if I'm looking that way, this is the chat. That's the mirror. Yeah. Hello, you stallion, you. Ooh. But this is the chat. Do it a lot. Anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? This can't be the end of part 1. Ah, there we go. Ordinarily, when Terran has pulled back to this position, what does Terran do? Turtles, until there is something magical that pops out. Something like medevacs or Hellions or tanks to maybe do a marine tank push. MVP was known for doing that. What are some other things that players will do? You don't really see a fast Banshee. Those are probably the big things. The medevacs, siege tanks, or Hellions. That's when your player will move out. If you're Terran, that's when you're going to move out. What does that mean? That is a time when the Zerg will likely want to be spreading creep. As we come here, we see 2 queens. So literally, in 40 seconds, there will be a queen that can throw down a creep tumor and go. Ha-ha. Ah-ha-ha. But watch what TaeJa does. He's got his defense structure set up once again. Here's a little Zergling that pops up. He literally gets 8 Marines and pushes out. What? Is that safe? Is that good? Can you get away with doing this push? So now what we have to do is we have to stop and think. Why is this a good play? Now, again, this is where we want to consider all our possibilities. What could he have at the start of the game that really messes up Marines that are moving out? He can be doing things like a bunch of Zerglings with speed will kill us. But other than that, he can have slowlings, which we can kite, slow roaches, which we can run away from, slow banelings, which we can run away from, queens, which we can run away from if we get off creep. It's quite safe to move out. The only really big threat that would be going on is speed Zerglings. But we've delayed his gas. So we know he doesn't have speed. Now, I want to go one more level than that. I want to go one level deeper. How long does it take to get gas if Zerg has not built a geyser yet? Shit, wrong question. How long does it take for us to get Zergling speed done if the Zerg hasn't started gas yet? This is a common timing that you should be aware of. It's about 3 minutes. A little bit less. It's about 3 minutes. It's a very, very good timing to have. Yes, people typing 3 minutes in the chat. I love you. Ah, the 3-minute timing. Yes. 3-minute timing. So what does this mean? We're going to come back to the game, and we're just going to look at when the push stopped. At 6:30, we were pulling back. 3 minutes from now is about 9:30, maybe 9:30. We can approximate a little bit. At the very least, this is a safe play until the 9-minute mark. So again, I've discussed safety. What are options that Zerg can do? Zerg can be going straight for a layer, or straight for a third base, or for some kind of 2-base all in. So look at this. He checks for the third. Instantly we know we are going to be up against a layer, a guy rushing for a layer. By the way, we know we're either going to be up against a guy rushing for a layer or a 2-base all-inning type thing. Or more of an economy play, which is the least aggressive of them all. But look at this drone. Look, Shine totally wanted to do that. Almost every Zerg's able to get away with that there. But look, TaeJa ain't gonna let that happen. He's not gonna let it happen. Even got the chance to see the drone there and shoot at it a little bit, and he just sits. And also we see TaeJa following it up with this really funky 4 barracks plus reactor Hellion play. Sweet. I'm going to go take a break, and when we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to explore yet again how TaeJa continues to maintain control. And the most simple benchmark to see if he's in control or not is looking at the creep spread. See you for part number 2 in just a sec.